Dear students, we are going to discuss about some special diodes after knowing the construction, working characteristics of PN junction diode. Okay, so here we are going to study various diodes. One is the varactor diode. In addition to that, you are also going to study Zener diode and tunnel diode. Okay, so here already you have studied about the diode capacitances. Okay, so what are the diode capacitances? Diffusion capacitance and transition capacitance. Okay, so when transition capacitance will be considered, it is the capacitive effect which is considered when the PN junction diode is reverse biased. So based on that, we have constructed a special diode. Special diode means the diode which is constructed for some specific purpose. Like in communication systems, you need to change the channel. That is, indirectly you are changing the frequency of that particular channel to select a channel. So that's why here varactor diode, it is a type of PN junction diode whose capacitance can be varied. Already you know that a diode can be used as a capacitor. So if the same diode is connected in reverse bias condition, that will, the depletion width vary. Okay, so as you know that in reverse bias condition, the depletion width increases. So if you see the construction of a C is equal to epsilon A by D or width. So in reverse bias condition, if the depletion width increases, capacitance value decreases. So see here, the same property we have studied in the last class. So when the reverse voltage increases, capacitance value decreases according to this formula only. So the depletion width is so wide in such a way that it can, the depletion width increases so that the transition capacitance decreases. So this is the characteristics, so that diode can be assumed as a varactor diode. So what is the difference between a semiconductor diode construction and varactor diode construction? So this is a specially doped, because here the non-uniform doping is applied here to convert it into a special diode. So here the doping concentrations are slightly changed near the junction so that it will be obtained as a varactor diode. So here the varactor diode acts like a variable capacitor. Already we have variable capacitors in real-time applications, that is we can call this as a trimmer also. Okay, so that's why here the variable capacitor, see here, we can represent the variable capacitor like this. So the particular varactor diode can be used as a variable capacitor. Next, the capacitance of the varactor diode is measured in picofarads, because the value is reducing very drastically. So the value is also very minute value. So it is measured in picofarads. So this is the symbol of varactor diode. Here what we have done compared to ordinary diode, here we have changed the cathode construction. In case of a normal diode, the cathode is represented as a vertical line. Here the cathode is replaced with a capacitor, and you can also consider this as a variable capacitor. Same varactor diode can be drawn like this. Okay, so here it is also, there are several names for varactor diode. One is a varicap, that is variable capacitor, or a tuning diode, because whenever the capacitance is changing, indirectly you are changing the frequency, so tuning diode, or variable reactance diode, because the reactance is a capacitive reactance, or variable capacitance diode. So like that, varicap or volta cap also we can call. There are several names for a varactor diode. So the important applications are here. See, all the applications are related to the frequency only. If you see the frequency multipliers, parametric amplifiers, voltage control oscillators, FM radio, TV receivers, AFC circuits, or adjustable band pass filters. All these applications are related to variable of frequency. So varactor diode finds extensive useful application in communication systems where the frequency is a variable factor. Next one is about the Zener diode. So before going to the Zener diode, next special diode which is used as a voltage regulator. But before going to the Zener diode, let us study there are different types of breakdown mechanisms in a PN junction diode. Suppose if you see the reverse bias characteristics, we will draw like this, reverse characteristics. So what is the maximum amount of reverse voltage can be allowed in a diode without any damage? Therefore, that is known as a breakdown mechanism. So in every semiconductor device or in any semiconductor, there are two types of breakdown mechanisms. One is known as a avalanche breakdown. Next one is known as a Zener breakdown. Okay, so the both are scientists only, and they have studied this breakdown mechanism when a PN junction diode is under reverse bias condition or semiconductors under reverse bias condition. So both breakdown mechanisms will be studied under reverse bias condition only. See here, what is meant by Zener breakdown? Usually here we will talk about the doping levels of a PN junction diode. So if the doping levels are lightly doped PN junction diodes, we will see avalanche breakdown. Heavily doped diodes will be expecting a Zener breakdown. Now let us see what is Zener breakdown. So this is due to the result of large electric field inside the depletion layer. Another common point in the both breakdowns is both breakdowns will be occur in the depletion region only. Therefore, so this is due to a strong electric field intensity developed within the depletion layer, so that direct rupture of the covalent bonds will take place. So more excess heavy current developed within the layer, that will cause a Zener breakdown. So whenever the diode is heavily doped, even for small amount of reverse voltage, this breakdown will occur. Whereas in normal doping, normal PN junction diode, due to lightly doping concepts, here some avalanche multiplication takes place. So this is due to the result of electrons or holes colliding with the fixed ions. See here, in case of Zener breakdown, we have to select a heavily doped PN junction diode. So in case of heavily doped PN junction, the depletion width will become narrow. So if you see the construction here, in case of a Zener breakdown, the depletion width is very narrow. So this is P and N. Depletion width is very narrow, so that high intense electric field will result here. See here, that's why in this depletion layer, the direct rupture of the covalent bonds will occur. Therefore here, the electron, see this is a full bond, this is a full covalent bond, here and here, see here and here, the covalent bond is broken. Here, if you see here also, two covalent bonds were broken. So in case of Zener breakdown, direct rupture of the covalent bonds takes place because of heavy doping, so that depletion width will become narrow. So high intense of electric field will cause the breakage of the covalent bonds. So this is about Zener breakdown. In case of avalanche breakdown, we will consider normal doping. In case of normal doping, the depletion width is wide. See here, this is P material, this is N material. The depletion width is so wide. That's why external voltage must be very large to create avalanche multiplication. So what is happening here? Here also the minority carriers in the opposite in the layer. So for example, in P material, electrons are minority carriers in P region. This electron will enter into this depletion width. So this is totally depletion width. So the minority carrier enter here and it will hit the covalent bonds of the atoms, germanium or silicon. They will be releasing electrons from their bonds. The bonds will be, the atom will be hit by this minority carrier because the minority carrier is traveling with a high kinetic energy. Okay, then again these three electrons will again hit the surrounding atoms and release the electrons. Therefore, the avalanche multiplication takes place. So one minority carrier create these many number of splitting generation of more number of electrons. So because of this wide bandwidth, wide depletion width, the voltage, external voltage required must be greater than 6 volts. Whereas in case of a Zener breakdown, the depletion width is narrow, very small voltage is sufficient to start this Zener breakdown. Therefore, Zener breakdown preferred when the applied reverse voltage is 6 volts. Now, let us conclude. So, there are two types of breakdown mechanisms in any semiconductor material. One is Zener breakdown, other one is avalanche breakdown. So, this is totally depending upon the doping concentrations used in that particular construction. So, in case of avalanche breakdown, normal doping is preferred so that the depletion width is so wide. Therefore, the avalanche multiplication takes place due to minority charge carriers. Whereas in case of a Zener breakdown, the doping concentrations are heavy, that is heavily doped construction is possible. Thereby, even with a small voltage, the depletion width will become narrow and therefore Zener breakdown occurs due to direct rupture of the covalent bonds. So this is the part where, so you see here, this is the first one is Zener diode occurs even for less reverse voltage and this is more than 6 volts. Okay, so here the current rises very sharply from the particular point. So this is known as a reverse breakdown voltage, Zener, and this is for Zener, and this is the reverse breakdown voltage where avalanche multiplication takes place. So in the forward bias condition, there is no change. It will behave as an ordinary PN junction. There is no problem here. So 0.1, 0.2, 0.3 like this. Okay. So here, what is the application of Zener diode as a application of PN junction diode? That is, if the doping is heavily applied, then that will cause a Zener diode. So in case of normal diode, we can call this as one part of impurity to 10 power 8 atoms of germanium or silicon. So this is known as normal doping, where avalanche breakdown will occur. Whereas in case of Zener diode, the doping concentrations are 1 part of impurity to 10 power 6 atoms of germanium or silicon. So this is known as heavy doping. That is, to 10 power 6 atoms itself we are adding an impurity that will cause a Zener diode. Here the cathode is converted, changed as a Z symbol, Z for Zener diode. Okay, so see the characteristic. If the same Zener diode is connected in forward bias condition, it behaves as an ordinary PN junction, no change at all. But it shows its characteristic only when it is reverse biased. So now let us discuss the application of Zener diode as a voltage regulator. See here, initially the Zener diode is connected in reverse bias condition only. See here, this is the supply plus and minus. The Zener diode is connected in reverse bias condition only, so that the regulation properties can be studied. zener acts as a voltage regulator. First of all, let us study what is a voltage regulator. Voltage regulator means a regulator is a circuit which will maintain a constant output voltage in spite of changes in the supply or load. Because see here, the zener diode is connected between a source and a load. Therefore, whatever may be the changes in the supply or whatever may be the changes in the load, the output voltage must be constant. So this is the very purpose of maintaining voltage regulation at the output. So here we will study two special cases. Suppose if there are changes from the source side. So we can also call this a source as line. So we can call this as a line regulation. And if there are any changes observed at the output load side, we can call this as a load regulation. For example, let us assume there are changes in the supply. Whenever there is a change in the supply, automatically this current will vary. Therefore, the diode voltage is in such a way that it will adjust the voltage itself to maintain the output voltage constant. Therefore, here any excess voltage other than the diode can tolerate can be dropped across this series resistance so that the voltage across the load will be constant, because the zener is connected in parallel to the load. So whatever voltage developed by VZ, zener voltage, will be the voltage across the load. So that is known as a line regulation. That is the maintenance of output voltage constant for the changes in the line voltage. Okay. Then another one is load voltage, load regulation. Load means now we are changing the load values. Suppose if the load current, load resistance changes, automatically load current will vary. Therefore, in this case, this is constant. Here, input voltage is constant. Now, we are changing the load. Therefore, as the input voltage is constant, I is also constant. See here, if I is equal to the zener current plus load current. So I is equal to Iz plus IL. I is divided into Iz plus IL. Therefore, whenever the load resistance changes, for example, let us take the first case when RL is maximum. If the load resistance increases, so what will happen to if RL increases according to Ohm's law? IL will decrease. So when RL increases, IL should decrease, isn't it? So to maintain I constant, so here what is happening? IL is decreasing. To maintain I constant, what should be done for the zener current? Zener current should rise. That is known as a load regulation. That is, if you see the characteristic of a zener diode, here what is happening? Whenever the load resistance increases, load current decreases, Iz increases. So this is the zener current, zener voltage, and this is reverse current or zener current. See, the zener current increases rapidly. Whatever may be the zener current, the voltage is fixed. Voltage is fixed. Therefore, even with Iz increases also, the Vz is nothing but V0 because it is connected in parallel according to this characteristic. Now, the second case is, so IL decreases signapudu, then Iz must increase. Therefore, I must be constant. I should be constant. Therefore, V0 is equal to Vz, that is equal to constant. This is the first case. Let us see the second case when load resistance decreases. Second case, when load resistance decreases according to Ohm's law, when RL is small, IL must be very, very large. So according to this formula, if IL is large, Iz should decrease. Therefore, Iz will be decreasing. See here from this graph, if Iz decreases, If Iz decreases, even that case also the Zener voltage is constant. Therefore here even Iz decreases also, I is anyway, so to maintain I constant, Iz should decrease. Therefore Vz is nothing but V0. So this is about how Zener diode acts as a voltage regulator. Therefore, if it regulates the output voltage with the variations in the line voltage, that is known as line regulation. And if the output voltage is maintained constant for the changes in the load, that is known as a load regulation. So like this PN junction diode, which is slightly heavily doped, will be considered as a Zener diode, and it will be acting as a regulator. So this is the experimental setup for Zener diode, and this is the characteristic. So for any increment or decrement in the Zener current, the output voltage is a constant. So that's the fundamental concept. So how this application is possible? Because of heavy doping only. Now let us concentrate on the tunnel diode, which is a very important application, especially as a fast switch, because of again the doping concentration. So you know that in case of a normal doping, how we are calculating 1 part of impurity to 10 power 8 atoms of germanium or silicon, normal doping. Just now we finished the Zener diode. Here 1 part of impurity to 10 power 6 atoms of germanium or silicon, which is known as a Zener diode. Its application is as a voltage regulator. Here in normal doping, PN junction diode can be used as a switch, or it can be used as a rectifier, or it can be used in clippers and clamper circuits. Whereas the doping concentration is highly increased, that is 1 part of impurity to 10 power 3. Ante, that is even for 10,000 atoms you are adding a impurity, so that the doping concentrations are heavy. That's why we call this as a tunnel diode. That is, it will find a tunnel like flow of electrons is possible, which creates excess of amount of current, flow of electrons in the diode. Therefore, compared to normal diode, even for less than its cut-in voltage of germanium or silicon, it conducts early, that is conducts heavily before the cut-in voltage. Therefore, it is a heavily doped. That's why this point is very important. The doping concentration is 1000 atoms of germanium or silicon. Usually we prefer gallium arsenide. Here, for that 1 part of impurity will be added. So it is a 2-terminal device with the P-type semiconductor acts as anode and N-type as a cathode. So here the most important point is this one. As compared to the ordinary diode, the diode has 1000 times higher doping density. So because of this excess doping only, the complete characteristics of the tunnel diode are changed. See here, let us see how the tunneling takes place. In a normal PN junction diode, that is in normal doping, the depletion width is so wide. Just now we have studied the avalanche breakdown. So when there is a normal doping, the depletion width is wide. So if any hole try to cross the barrier, it will stop here, because there is no sufficient external bias to cross this barrier. Similarly, electron also, it cannot travel because of this wide depletion width. Whereas in case of heavy doping, the depletion width is narrow. See, this is a wide depletion width. This is a narrow depletion width. So with this narrow depletion width, even with a small voltage, for example, normal doping, germanium if you take, up to 0.3 volts, there is no current conduction. Carriers cannot cross here. They cannot cross, very difficult. But here in case of tunnel diode, even with a less small, very minute voltage also, the carriers will travel. See, they will easily penetrate from one side to other side because of this heavy doping. Because in heavily doped diodes, the depletion width will become narrow, very narrow. So this narrow width is sufficient to cross the barrier. That's why this process is known as a tunneling phenomena. That is, they tunnel through the barrier without any much external voltage. See, this is the symbol of tunnel diode. Even here also see the cathode construction is slightly changed. That indicates the flow of carriers as a tunneling. Then according to energy band diagram also we can explain. See here, this is the P side and N side. Because of heavy doping, the Fermi level will be enter inside the valence band and inside the conduction band. Already you know the energy band diagram of P type and N type semiconductors. Therefore, in reverse bias, more number of carriers are moving away from the junction. So reverse current is also very, very large. And in forward bias condition, holes and electrons will travel towards the barrier so that the Fermi level rises up. See, this is the construction. Therefore, in a case of a tunnel diode, the characteristics are like this. See here, even in reverse bias also, it conducts heavily. See here, the total characteristics in forward bias can be divided into 3 parts. See, this is the first part, second part, and this as a third part. Why? Because the structure itself shows that it acts as some waveform oscillating property, so that it can be used as a microwave oscillator. And another thing is, for every diode in a normal PN junction diode, the diode conducts only after the cut-in voltage. See here, it takes very, very less voltage to conduct. Therefore, from origin to this particular point O to A, the tunnel diode conducts heavily because of heavy doping. Excess number of holes and electrons are there. It constitutes more current, that is known as IP. So this IP is known as a peak current. After the tunneling phenomena is over, that is after the total excess carriers due to doping are completed, then the tunneling phenomena ends. Tunneling current decreases. So even with high forward bias also, the tunneling current is decreasing. That is, as voltage is increasing, current is decreasing. So both are reverse process. Usually in Ohm's law, voltage and current are rising parallelly, V proportional to I. So whereas here, for the even in the increment of the voltage, the current tunneling excess carriers decreases. So the region from A to B is known as a negative resistance region. Resistance proportional to I. Okay, but here as voltage is increasing, current is falling from A to B. That's why this is known as a negative resistance region, which is a major important characteristic of tunnel diode to be used as an oscillator. Fast switch also. Then from B to C. That is, once if the tunneling process is completed and the negative resistance process is completed, the diode, this tunnel diode behaves as an ordinary PN junction diode like this. See here, like ordinary PN junction diode. So that curve can be expected from B to C. So that's why this is a very, very important question from examination point of view. Discuss the characteristics. So from O to A, high peak tunneling current can be expected at IP, and this particular voltage is known as peak voltage. Then from A to B, the current falls with a sharp rise in voltage. So this voltage is known as VV, valley voltage. Then the current also falls at this particular place. This is known as valley current. Okay, from this now it pick up the forward voltage as well as the forward current. So that is known as a peak forward voltage. So like that, a tunnel diode characteristic is a very, very important one. See, in the reverse bias also, due to excess doping, reverse current is also dominating. So this is the characteristic of a tunnel diode. Now let us discuss the advantages. Why tunnel diode is important? Because it's environmental immunity, low power dissipation, high speed of operation. Why? How you can say that it's a high speed of operation? Here, advantages of tunnel diode: environmental immunity, low power dissipation, high speed of operation because of narrow characteristic curve, low noise, longevity, simplicity in fabrication, ease of operation, and insensitivity to nuclear radiation. Very, very important parameter is this one, high speed of operation. Okay, then low noise and low power dissipation. These are the 3 important points. Then the main disadvantage of this tunnel diode is there is no isolation between input and output circuit. See, this is also a two-terminal device. The only difference between the only division between P and N is only the depletion layer. Once if the depletion layer disappears, there is no proper control flow of carriers from one side to another side. That's why the main disadvantage of this one is there is no proper isolation between input and output circuit because it is a two-terminal device. That's why we came to BJT, three-terminal device, just only to control the flow of carriers from one side to the other side. The next disadvantage is low output voltage swing. Okay. Then applications. So this very good advantages will be leading to several applications. The very important application is ultra high speed switch because of its low time durations, low time period here. That's why high speed is possible. Logic memory storage device because it has the characteristic of like this. Okay, it gives more current, more excess current, peak currents, and then it will come to a valley current also. Therefore, logic memory storage device, microwave oscillator because oscillator means it's nothing but a waveform generation. So it looks like a microwave oscillator which is having a narrow frequency, that is low frequency. So the important applications of tunnel diode are ultra high speed switch. So all these applications are possible only because of this heavy doping and tunneling phenomena. Therefore, next one is logic memory storage device, microwave oscillator, relaxation oscillator circuit, and it is also used as an amplifier also. So a diode is used as an amplifier because of this excess doping. Okay, so the important applications are ultra high speed switch, logic memory storage device, and microwave oscillator. These are very important applications in the from the tunnel diode. Now these are the assignment questions. See here, what are the doping concentrators? Because as soon as you are changing the doping, it results into another diode and application is also changing. So everybody has to know about what are the doping concentrations of PN junction diode, Zener diode, and tunnel diode. Next one is what are the major applications of Zener diode, varactor diode, and tunnel diode. Because of this doping only, applications are also changing. Then distinguish between avalanche and Zener breakdown. So based upon the type of doping and depletion width, everything will be considered under this one. Next one, how Zener diode acts as a voltage regulator. Then what is the negative resistance region in tunnel diode? So already we discussed in the VI characteristics, from peak voltage to the valley voltage or peak current to the valley current, the region will appear which is the main source of different applications. Then what is that negative resistance region? Then compare PN junction, Zener, tunnel and varactor diodes in all respects. That is starting from the construction, doping, advantages, disadvantages, applications, symbols, equivalent circuits, etc. You compare all these diodes, okay, in a table, or you can draw it on the chart. Thank you.